Developing story here on KTN News. But apart from that, another one that is developing, Parliament Select Committee on proposed changes to the electoral laws is expected to begin public hearings this morning amid criticism of the amendments. The committee has invited the public and various stakeholders to submit their memoranda ahead of the hearings scheduled to run until Thursday. The opposition has no membership on the committee that was established on Thursday and has indicated it will not participate in the changing of the laws, despite contestations among other people by foreign envoys. Committee Chairman William Cheptumo insists the amendments were for the good of the country and should not be viewed as intended to benefit the ruling Jubilee Party. Let me now bring in my colleague Patrick Amimo, who's been following up on this developing story. Patrick, what are we looking at today? Is there a list of people who are expected to be submitting their memoranda with regard to the proposed laws?
Thank you, Betty. This particular meeting, it appears today, it will kick off as per the plan, because they intended it begin at around 9, but there are now preparations expected to kick off maybe beginning 10 a.m. Already, we've seen members of the public who've been invited to give their views on the various amendments that have been proposed to that election amendment law 2017, plus that of the election offences amendment law 2017. They're already beginning to gather here. These are amendments that are really brought controversy from the opposition. As you did indicate correctly, the opposition side has not submitted the list of their members to this particular committee. Ordinarily, such a committee, a joint committee, would be handled by the relevant committee of the House. In this case, it would have been the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. But as we talk presently, the House committees have not been constituted. And now that the House committees have not been constituted, in the National Assembly and the Senate, the speakers had to invoke their standing orders, which allow for the formation of ad hoc committees. So this particular committee is an ad hoc committee, an interim committee that will be canvassing these various changes that have been proposed to the various election laws. And that's why we saw the opposition side say that they cannot participate until that substantive committee has been put in place. But as it were, the process is on. The Jubilee side did nominate their members to the committee, and the House approved the list. So they have already kickstarted the process. On Saturday, they met for the first time as under a joint team that is in the National Assembly and the Senate. And we saw on yesterday, Monday, they tried to also meet. They held an in-house meeting without just to strategize on the way forward. And today, at least, they have seen several members of the public have just checked in. If you can see, that's those members of the who've just come, who've checked into. We expect they'll be giving their views with regard to the various proposals, if they agree with them and or not, and if they need, maybe they need this particular proposal refined. We saw yesterday the envoys, at least 14 envoys from Europe and the US, say that the international best practices say that we should not introduce legislation with far-reaching implications mid-term when there's already an election process. They say it's something that should be given time to for the parties to understand and come up with at least a watertight legislation that can stand posterity. But it appears then we'll see whether those sentiments by the envoys will be taken on board. We've also seen the opposition is against this particular amendments, and they say the law should apply as it were on August 8th. But as it is, then members of the Jubilee side are already seized of the matter, and they'll be running the show. This particular committee, the ad hoc committee, is chaired by Baringo North MP William Cheptumo, and the co-chair is Fatuma Dulo from the Senate, who will be assisting in canvassing these particular amendments as they guide members of the public and various organizations that will come on board to look into these particular amendments that have really, some have gained support and others are also facing equal criticism. Betty?
Patrick, before I let you go, I mean, you mentioned quite clearly that the opposition, NASA, has been hell-bent that they will not be part of these proceedings or anything to do with these proposed changes to the laws. But also, at the same time, there have been calls to have them actually participate so that in one way or another, they will be part of, these changes to the electoral laws. Is it likely to happen at any point?
We expect, so far, I haven't seen any member of the opposition here in this particular chamber for this particular ad hoc committee, unless if one turns out, it will just be as any other legislator, maybe a friend of the committee, but as it were, the opposition did not submit their list. And according to the leader of the majority in the National Assembly, he says that when the House reconvenes on October 10th, they expect this committee to table their report in both houses for debate, and we expect at this particular time he is of the view that by October 13th, the matter should have been settled, should have gone through the second and third reading and be passed by both houses, and to get that as assent from the president. It is the expectation of the leader of majority in the National Assembly that these particular laws will guide the October 26th election. So that is the way matters is, and already I can see the chairperson, the co-chair, Fatuma Dulo, is just trying to introduce membership, calling the House to order.
Very much, Patrick Amimo. As he's mentioned there, the session is just about to begin. Fatuma Dulo, they're calling the House to order. She is a co-chair of that ad hoc parliamentary committee, and the proceedings will be starting any moment. As you've seen also, there are quite a number of people who've come out to give their memoranda with regard to the proposed changes to the electoral laws. We'll be going back there to follow up on the proceedings in